Wonder coming to you live, at least for now, at the Last Chance Saloon.
Did you have an illness we don't know about?
Dick here, Mike. I thought Jason saw a mouse there. He kind of scared me for a second. But anyways, that was a good opening there, right up to the point there. But let's introduce everyone that's in the house tonight. To my extreme left, if you're looking at the radio station, it's to your right. It'd be over by the Alt-Delete button. We have Miss Velvet Presley. Miss Rebecca, how you doing?
Good, living the dream.
Living the dream. You got to raise your standards a little higher than that.
She's a thorn between two roses.
No, that's very not true. It's the other way around, honestly.
There's usually only one flower there too. It's always surrounded by thorns.
Yeah. See? He jumps right in.
I didn't ask for any help, Doug. Now, come on.
Okay.
Like that. So off the other voice you're hearing in the distance, the one and the only. Oh, man. Do I really have to do this? It's the hillbilly heartthrob, Mr. Jason Adams. How you doing, Jason?
Well, I am here and looking beautiful.
I knew that was coming.
It's hard to be this sexy.
Uh-huh. And that voice in the background, all the way from Pulaski, Tennessee, is our sound guy, Mr. IT Guru, Brian. How you doing, Brian?
Good, but, they can't hear me.
What? They can't hear you.
It's just like Roger the Rabbit or something. We can't see you. They can't hear you.
I'm Mr. Snuffleupagus. I don't exist.
Wow. And I'm the big bird of the group. I like that. So
Yeah.
You are kind of yeller.
I am yeller. It just goes the long beak. So, I think we didn't hear Brian laugh. That was the best part of the show. So, anyways, I'd like to say we have a guest, but I think he just packed and left. We used to have guests actually come on and go, these guys are okay. Now they get warned ahead of time and restraining orders come out on some of us. We want to apologize for the one of our main characters here. Uncle Lair is busy on a conference call. He's unable to talk to us right now, so hopefully he might stroll in here a little bit, or maybe text us, But so, Larry, you're here in spirit. Hopefully you can get here pretty soon. But Larry's a little busy taking care of personal matters, so we wish you the best, Larry. Jason, let's just kick this off with the real talent of the show. Why don't you introduce who our guest is today?
I was afraid you might say that.
I want to hear you pronounce his last name.
You already forgot it.
No.
You already forgot. You need a cheat sheet.
Yes.
Introduce yourself.
It's the one and the only Mr. DougToalston.
Good call, Doug.
Otherwise known as
Austin Powers.
No, baby.
Groovy man.
So in and around Nashville, my last name has always been, ever since I was in 7th grade, I heard every form of toast that there was, because my name is spelled Toalston. And so I heard every kind of nickname there was to go through that. And that's been my nickname for, a lot of years. And,
Toast?
Toast. Toasty, toast. Toast
You're
and
from
pop.
France. It'd be pretty good.
French toast.
French toast.
French
French fries.
Ooh la la.
French fries. All right, let's get off the food stuff unless we're being endorsed by some major Ida or something,
There you go.
Well, Doug, we're so glad you're here with us at the Last Chance Saloon. The last time we saw Doug, he was over at the Fam Jam back in June, performed for us, and we're glad to have him as part of that. Doug, why don't you go ahead and kick off a song for us, and then unlike the Fam Jam, we're actually going to get to sit and talk and grill you a little bit and kind of find out where you're from and what makes you tick.
All right. And she said it there before, so I'm going to kick it off with a little bit of something that has to do with living the dream. Got a job down at the factory. It ain't much fun, but it pays. Get to make a little just another day in paradise. I've got these dreams in my head of a cooler full of beer on ice and some beach in the Med. We're at the Redneck Riviera, maybe down in Key West. It's another day in paradise. Why can't I be there instead? Friends keep telling me I'm not on there. Oh, they can be such jerks. Keep telling me that I'm okay, but that never works. Oh, when I get that dazed-eyed stare, you can realize that I'm off somewhere, and you can rest assured. It's just another day in paradise. I've got these dreams in my head of a cooler full of beer on ice and some beach in the Med. We're at the Redneck Riviera, maybe down in Key West. It's another day in paradise. Why can't I be there instead? My wife keeps calling me Peter Pan. Don't y'all know that she's right? Says she loves to feel her toes in the sand and watch the sun fade out of sight. She keeps letting me know that I'm her man when I'm holding her tight. She says, Pete, why don't you just get canned and I'll start packing tonight for another day in paradise. I've got these dreams in my head of a cooler full of coolers on ice and some beach in the Med. Or at the Redneck Riviera, maybe down in Key West. It's another day in paradise. Why can't I be there instead? For another day in paradise, I won't be there instead. It's just another day in paradise. Why can't I be there instead? Thank you very much.
It makes you just want to kind of dance, you know?
We're going to Florida.
I live every day in paradise.
Here at the Last Chance
Here at the
Saloon
Last
in
Chance
Morrison,
Saloon,
Tennessee.
yes.
Nice segue. You still don't get a raise, but thanks for trying. Well, Doug, what's been happening since June? What's been going on with you?
Well, I work at the VA hospital.
Works at the VA.
And it's a job.
Okay.
And that's an everyday occurrence. However, I did just get to that point where I'm the workaholic, and so every time that it gets to this time of year, my boss comes and says, if you don't leave tomorrow, they're going to start taking vacation away from you. And that's a real incentive just to go, see ya.
Yeah.
And so I took a couple of weeks, and actually 1 week and came back, and then another week back in Ohio. Where I'm from, Alliance, Ohio, the home of Genie Garage Door Openers, Lenny Dawson, and Zip Strip Paint Products. And
Which, ironically, we were endorsed by all three. And we love Lenny Dawson.
really is true.
Is there anybody else in this room other than you and I? Now, if Uncle Larry was here, he'd know who Len Dawson is.
No.
He was the losing quarterback of the first Super Bowl.
To the Wisconsin Green Bay Packers. Matter of fact, the first two of them.
No, he
No,
won
the
the
first one.
he won the fourth.
He won the fourth, but he got beat in the first one.
You got to be bad to lose to the Packers.
He won. Well, he won the fourth against Johnny Unitas, so that's not bad either.
Bad. Yeah, I like Len Dawson.
I did that just to see the look on his face.
I know. It's one of the greatest dynasties of all time, Jason. Kind of like, what's Michigan done lately? Okay.
Smog? Smog?
Ever since he got rid of Barry Sanders.
Yeah, no.
Well, of course, that was Barry's option. I just heard Barry on a commercial today. Something about...
Blueberry?
What's that? Barry Sanders.
You selling blueberries?
No, he wasn't selling. That'd be great, wouldn't it? Barry Sanders for blueberries. No, he was doing an attorney commercial for fathers that going through divorce and stuff. It was kind of odd. I just didn't expect. He don't talk. I don't think he's said 5 words his whole life. He's a very shy guy. But that was kind of wild. Barry Sanders. So I don't know. I don't know why we got off on that. Let's get away from there. So, anyways, you're from Ohio, Alliance, Ohio. A big town, small town?
It's about 25,000. I'm going to overestimate now because, they're going through the industrial down phasing. A lot of different towns up there in the north. We know that.
What was the big business there in Alliance? What was the largest employer?
The big business was, for the longest time, a place called Morgan Engineering. Mm-hmm. Morgan made cranes. And they were known for making the world's largest crane. They went for the world's largest. But anytime you see the ones that have the block and tackle, the block and the hook, that's their insignia. And you'll still see them out there. And they actually had to go back into business to start repairing the cranes that were being made.
Oh, wow.
And so they did do that. And that's kind of resurged back in my hometown a little bit. But... again, it's an industrial town, and they're trying to rebound with every kind of consumer-oriented business they can, which creates third-world attitudes, and that's politics, and we won't talk about that.
Right, exactly. So your high school graduating class was about how big?
416 when I went to school there. The high school class was a pretty large class, and I was average Joe student, always been into music. My mother was a voice teacher.
Oh, cool.
And so she beat me up if I didn't. No, I'm just kidding. Rest your soul. Opal was quite something, and as my dad Art was too. And so we. I always like to joke about Alliance because I always tell them it's a nice place to live, but I wouldn't want to. How do you say that? It was really a nice place to grow up.
Okay.
It was really a nice place to grow up, but you just didn't want to visit there. It was not.
Well, and you know what snow is. Were you there during the blizzard of '78?
I was training horses in Cleveland.
Ooh.
I went to college for horse husbandry at Ohio State. It came in really handy. My first wife was a nag.
He'll be here all week. Try the veal. Try it again.
You can't make this stuff up. And I was training harness racing horses, the kind that pull a little buggy. Everybody sees that, in Cleveland. And I went through the worst winters consecutively, 3 consecutive winters in Cleveland, culminating with 1978.
Right.
And by February of 1978, I was living in Tuscaloosa, Alabama, where it snows once a year and it's gone by noon.
Yes.
My favorite part of snow is the 2 letters in the middle.
Yes.
No.
Yeah, that's the thing down here. We've been here. I've lived here now 7 years, but my mom's from down here, so I've been coming down since I was a kid. I've yet to shovel since being down here. I've yet to shovel. And I can't tell you how many times schools have canceled. And you and I went to school, probably, it's going to sound like we're our parents, but knee deep, up
walking uphill both ways.
Yeah, with a block of ice on my back.
Yeah.
It was bad stuff up there. But we went to school. Did you have any snow days off?
Very seldom.
Yeah, we had none.
The
blizzard of '78. That was a year that I graduated in '77. I had no school days ever off, but in '78 they got 1 day off, and all the people that graduated in '77 went, dang, We wanted to have one day off. It took the blizzard of 78 to give that school one day off. That's all they had. It was crazy.
We never ran out of snow days. That was something that I watch here and go, we didn't have any snow.
You're going to have to graduate in August, you know.
But they worry about the ice here, and I do know that's a big ordeal here. And you can stay home and be very careful because of the other people that don't know how to drive in this stuff.
Right.
And
exactly.
I'm one of them.
I'm one of. There you go. It is. It's difficult to do that, and when you grow up there, your father takes you to the biggest parking lot in town, and he goes, "Hey, just do some donuts out there. Just spin it around and get used to turning the wheel the opposite direction of what you're skidding." And so you get a little bit of different education than you get down here. I mean,
Yeah.
Go out there and spin it, do a few donuts, and try not to run into the telephone pole.
You're exactly right. You don't hear that much down here at all. Yeah, again, I haven't shoveled snow in 7 years, but all right. Why don't you hit another song, and then we're going to ask how you got down to here.
All right. I mentioned Mama just a little bit earlier, and Lily Opal was her name, and she lived to be 92 years old. She was 1 month shy of her 93rd birthday, and I was on my way to her 92nd birthday, and after it was all over, I was on my way home, and I'd had several things kind of lead me to want to write this song. So I wrote this song between her 92nd and 93rd birthday. This is called That's My Mama. I can only imagine what it would have been like giving birth to a child when I came to life. What it was that woman had to go through. I was too young, so I don't recall my first words of breath too much at all. But I remember that love that was so true. As a tired young boy, she dressed me up in my pajamas, sent me to school and taught me where to put the commas. She was there if there was ever a trauma. Made me do what I should even when I didn't wanna. Something broke my heart, she'd help me through that drama. And I'd say, thank you, Mama. Well, I went off to college trying to understand what it was gonna be like to be a man, having things my own way. When things didn't go right, it didn't take long for me to wonder why or what was going wrong. And I'd call up Mama just to hear her say, if you're a tired young boy, go put on your pajamas. Never forget, son, where to put the commas. And I'll be there if there's ever a trauma. Always do what you should, even when you don't wanna. If something breaks your heart, I'll help you through that trauma. And I'd say, thank you, Mama. Too many years, yeah, they've come and gone, but she's forever free. I can hardly believe she almost made it to 93. When she was a tired young girl, we'd help her put on her pajamas. She said she couldn't remember where to put the commas, but we were there if there was ever a trauma. I had to make her do what she should, even when she didn't wanna. It's hard to watch that aging drama, but she's still my mama. Yeah, that's my mama. Thank you very much.
Beautiful song.
Thank you.
It's really descriptive. It's pretty cool how in life we come full circle, you know. And that's kind of what my wife and I are both doing. She takes care of her dad. I take care of my dad. They took care of us when we were little, and now we're there in their twilight years and trying to do the same thing. And that was a beautiful song. I love that too, immensely. So you were in Alliance, Ohio. What made you leave there? Where did you come right from there to here, or did you go elsewhere?
No, actually, I moved initially. I had a friend that offered me a job in Corpus Christi in 1978.
Okay.
And I started on my way down to Corpus Christi, and I got as far as Tuscaloosa. Mm-hmm. And I spent 4 years there one night. And I got associated with the people from the entourage of the Sanford Toalston band.
Okay. Oh, nice.
And hung around there for about 4 years, and did the starving artist trick there for several years. And I don't know, I just really wanted something different, and so I went up to Ohio and was talking to my dad, and he said, "Did you ever think about joining the Air Force, the service?" And he was 5.5 years Army Air Corps, World War II.
Oh, okay. Cool.
In New Guinea. And, of course, you know, hair down to my shoulders, I looked at him and I said, "No, Dad." And, but my oldest brother, who was the first religion editor of any major Southern newspaper, and in Jackson, at the Jackson Daily News, and he asked me to come down there, and I was a sheet metal mechanic. I was a air conditioning and heating sheet metal mechanic, and so I knew that business, and I went down there to try to find a job in Jackson, and just nothing was coming together. And I happened to be going past Armed Services Recruiters Station, and I thought, what the heck. I went in and I took an ASVAB, and I left there. I never thought anything about it, and ended up going back up to Northeast Ohio, and they came looking for me.
Did they? We liked your test scores. You're guaranteed schooling.
Well, you know this one. You weren't a recruiter, were you?
No. I was an oath away from joining the Navy in Milwaukee. I did the same thing you did.
Well, I was 26.
Oh, wow.
When I joined for delayed enlistment, and left in July of 1982 for basic training in Lackland, and then on to Denver for training school. A lot of things happened along the way, and the guaranteed job that I had fell through because of my hearing.
Yeah.
And,
so thank God you picked up music.
I was actually assigned to food service. And my attitude was I didn't come all this way to back away. And it was actually probably one of the best decisions I ever made. Now, of course, out here in the real world, food service is a dog-eat-dog business, and I can't get involved with it. I just, it's very difficult. And then again, if somebody said, "Do you ever try industrialized food service?" And I said, "There's something very unsettling about saying, 'Here, inmate, hold this knife.'" No. And but I spent 10 years with the Air Force. I 2.5 years in Japan, 5 years in Charleston, a year in Sicily.
Oh, cool.
Came back to Kansas City area.
And had to be a culture shock.
And
from Sicily to Kansas.
Or
Kansas City.
Kansas City. Missouri was actually Knob Noster, Missouri was where I was. It's now the home of the B-2 bombers. It's where but it was when I went there, Minuteman missiles, 150 square miles of missile patch, and I was an inspector for the food service. So I would drive out to these places, and I always got a little worried because I'd get assigned this one truck, and I remember the first time I got in the truck, and they said, "Be careful, it's got a little play on the steering wheel." And I said, "How much play?" And he said, "Can you say Wyoming?" But from there, all of the people that I was stationed with there, many of them were sent out for Desert Storm in September. the year that I 90. Then when I got there,
Right.
and January 1st, when all the bombs flew, before the day before, they were looking at me going, "Pack your bags, you're going." And I ended up kind of following in my dad's footsteps because he was in New Guinea all 5.5 years that he was in the Army Air Corps over there. I ended up going to a small island in the middle of the Indian Ocean called Diego Garcia, which is the longest runway, they say, outside the free world. It's an alternate landing site for the space shuttle, which is no longer in effect.
Right.
But it also launched 20 B-52s and 40 refueling aircraft. They called it Fire from the Island. And so all of the raids that were sent to the border of Kuwait and Iraq, the majority of them were sent from Diego Garcia. I came home, and at just a very difficult time for military because they were doing just like they're doing now. Reduction in force is a bad idea.
Yeah.
And so I just said, well, look, I went ahead and got out. I missed my last test for rank, and I said that if I missed it, that was it. And went back to Alliance, Ohio. And I was playing music in Akron, Canton, Cleveland, all over up there. And my oldest brother is now the editor of the Baptist Press for the Southern Baptist Convention. And lives in Franklin, Tennessee. And called me one day, and he said, "Songwriters don't live in Cleveland," and hung up. There I am.
I wonder what he was trying to say.
I can take a hint. I had been up here before from when I lived in Tuscaloosa, and I knew a little bit about it, but I decided I would come down and check things out, and ended up in Murfreesboro. And it was a good move. At the time, Rutherford County had the lowest unemployment rate in the state and one of the lowest in the country. And I've been there since, and I'm not leaving until I retire, and even then I could be making decisions that I want to get closer to the beach.
Right.
My wife and I both want to get closer to the beach.
Get them toes in the sand, like the first song.
I'd rather drive a couple hours and stay away from the hurricanes and that kind of thing.
I don't get that, but I understand what you're saying. A friend of ours, they live in Key West, and they own a small appliance shop. They work on washer dryers, refrigerators, and 6-7 times a year they're boarding up their shops, and they're like, "Don't you get tired of that?" And it's just the way of life.
It's like
you
shoveling.
and I with snow.
It's like shoveling snow.
Yeah. It's you and I, but I don't know. Snow.
It's up there. Up there, what will cue you to move south is this noise.
Yeah.
Down there, what will cue you to move north is this noise. What the heck is he doing? He's putting up the boards.
Yeah. Putting up the boards.
Now, how long have you been writing?
I've been writing songs since I was about 15, 43 years. And it's always been a lot of fun. I was the guy when everybody else was learning the Allman Brothers licks. I was learning chord progressions and all these things and writing songs, and they would always go, "That's never going to go anywhere." and now when I go home, they bring their kids and they go, "Watch this, words and music, man, words and music," and it's paid off in a large way. I love being here. I love traveling. I like going out and doing things, but this is, outside of my football buddy, this is it right here.
Right.
Your football buddy.
Yeah, you know what you do when you meet your best football buddy.
You marry her?
That's right.
There you go.
So Judy's at home. A shout out to Judy.
Shout out to Judy, Miss Football.
Miss Football.
There you are. What's his football buddy? So your team is
Yes.
the Browns?
Yes.
Is it?
Yeah.
You guys are diehard.
But I'm lifelong diehard Browns, Indians.
Yeah.
And I figure this is working out real well because the Titans are real close and don't shoot.
Don't shoot. Yeah, see, up from Green Bay, I'm still a big Packers fan. Now, my youngest boy, Michael, he's 28, 29. He is absolutely diehard Packers, but lives in Indiana. We lived in Indianapolis for 21 years, so I love the Colts. No offense to the Titans fans here in the bar, but I love the Colts. I had to follow Peyton Manning to Denver, so I'm sorry. I'm kind of, one of them guys, but you just got to love your hometown team, and the Green Bay, no matter if they were good or they're bad, you had to follow them. You were supposed to hate the Bears and the Vikings and the team out of Detroit, Lions. But you know what? I really like the Bears. I like the Bears a lot.
Here it was in our area. There was the big rivalry with the Cleveland Browns and the Steelers.
Right.
And then Art Modell decides the day before the vote for a referendum to build the stadium there to move the team to Baltimore.
Right.
And so our motto is, and they say, who do you root for? And we go, anybody who's beating Pittsburgh, unless they're playing the Ravens, and then we root for Pittsburgh.
Oh, yeah. See, with Indianapolis, we got the whole thing, the Baltimore thing, and yeah. But, yeah, that's cool. So why don't you hop into another song real quick? Tell us
All
about
right.
it.
I'm going to slow this down just a tad.
Ooh, it's an all-skate. Get your sweeties out there at home and dance.
It's a relatively new song. It's kind of a conversation song. Something you might want to say to your kids. What can I show you? No, I'm just an old man, but I had my youth too, by and by. Even though you think this world's so much different, some things still ring true. If you can look a man in the eye, and in your heart know wrong from right, and you give respect, 'cause that's what you want back. You won't be afraid to live your life, say what you gotta say, and then you just might come to understand. Take it from an old man. I know you're thinking, who's he? I say these things like it's something I need to hear. Wondering why he'd accuse me. No, but that's not what I'm trying to do. But I gotta make these words stand clear, so you can look a man in the eye, and in your heart know wrong from right, and you give respect, 'cause that's what you want back. You won't be afraid to live your life, say what you gotta say, and then you just might come to understand. Take it from an old man. Mistakes, and I know what it takes to get up off my knees. After asking you, dear Lord, won't you help me please? What can I show you? No, I'm just an old man, but I want to know what to do by and by. I know you. Seen every road that I've been down. You know what I've been through. But I can look a man in the eye, and in my heart know wrong from right. And I give respect, 'cause that's what I want back. And I'm not afraid to live my life, say what I gotta say, and you know that I've come to understand. But I'm an old man. Yeah. Take it from an old man. Take it from an old man. Thank you very much.
So the songs and the crowd goes crazy. All right. The songs that you write seem to be really deep and meaningful. Is that that whole theory? You write what you know. You write about mom. You write about your kids. You write about your dog Bobby.
I write about real life. I write about what happens to me.
Right.
And the blessing many times over is I'll be talking to somebody and they'll affirm that I didn't necessarily write that for me.
Right.
And that's the thing, as one of my friends says, we're all connected in one way or another, and that connection is a big thing, and that's why I do what I do. I mean, I do it because it's therapy for me, and I never realize who that might be therapy for other than me, and so that's always really important.
Yeah, because like the song you wrote about your mom, and then the son. I mean, they drive really good messages home. I mean, appreciate
Thank
your
you.
mom, and I have 3 kids from a previous marriage and 1 from a relationship. And 3 out of the 4 live different states. One's in London right now. I don't know what's up with that. That kind of scares me a little bit, but. You really appreciate your family and stuff. So when you hear songs like that, I go, man, that's just a good, touching song. I don't know songs about, my big green tractor and, I check myself for ticks, but not you for ticks and stuff like that. But, songs, that the old time, like the Johnny Cashes of the world, he could sing about whatever song it was, and you go, I might not have been in prison, but you can kind of relate to what he says. It's real life and it makes sense, and I think that's what music's supposed to be, where the common folk can understand it. So I think that's really good. I love that. So let's take Jason was leaning to the mic with his mouth open. Go ahead, Jason.
Just a common folk is all I is.
We did be common.
Yeah.
We have Miss Velvet Presley's got some trivia stuff and some news. Why don't you hit us with a couple here real quick? Doug takes water break here or something.
Well, you guys were talking about friends, and it says they did some research, and they said new friends become better friends over time if they have similar levels of social phobia.
Social phobia.
Stereo. And social phobia, like they can't speak in public.
Yeah, right.
They can't urinate in front of other people or something. Is that a social phobia? I don't know if that is. Huh. That's kind of wild. I kind of related that today. I heard, don't judge me, but John Tesh on the radio thing today said that to help lose weight, what you should do before you eat a meal is hug someone or something you love. It helps burn these endorphins and stuff.
Is that why you hugged me when I got here today?
I haven't ate yet, so no, I just know it made me ill, actually. But all right, what else you got?
I got one. You guys were talking about the military, and everybody, well, I think everybody knows that the U.S. military blared AC/DC at Noriega's compound for 2 days, and that's when he surrendered. Well, did you guys know that the British Navy uses Britney Spears music to scare off Somali pirates?
I think it's working.
Oops, I did it again.
We haven't heard of a ship being robbed lately. It must be working. I did not know that. Huh. Now, the whole thing going on, I haven't heard in the last few days because I've been out of touch with the world, but the thing between North Korea and South Korea is blaring propaganda from. Is anything going on with that in the last day or so?
They did come to an agreement that they were going to cool things down.
Play Britney Spears?
No, they had to blame Perry Como.
Perry Como.
The most relaxed man in show business.
I think they did that before, and they know that they don't want that.
Yeah, what broke out at the 56th parallel. So sorry about that. Go ahead.
I can hear him now.
Yeah,
he's playing White Christmas in June.
Shoot.
Okay, for everybody that steals music off of the internet, Just keep in mind, everybody, that for every $1,000 of music sold, the average musician will make just $23.40 for
Dollars.
sold.
For $1,000 or
For
$1,000?
$1,000 sold, for each
Okay.
$1,000 sold.
So for $1,000 sold, the musician's only going to make $23 of that.
No, per 1,000.
Right.
$23 per 1,000.
Yeah, for 1,000 he
And
gets
you
20.
still want to play another song?
Well, I'm a publisher.
He's got his bases covered.
I'm an ASCAP registered songwriter.
There you go. So every time he hears a song, there's 8
You know,
cents.
I don't necessarily push that real hard. I mean, I love what I do. I am what I do. I do what I am. And so it's kind of a thing where you have to take some risk. I mean, you know, people, you know, why don't you put any of this out on the internet? And well, it's on the internet, but I can't buy it. No, you can't. You know, when it goes to Toby Keith or whoever's going to buy it, or you know, sign the song, that's where that money's made. I mean, it's still made in radio airplay. There are some dollars being made over the internet as far as it goes, but it does not amount to what airplay is through the, you know, the Nielsen rating system kind of thing that we have. And you know, when it gets to that kind of level of public performance, you know, those dollars are much more incremental to a songwriter, to a producer, to an arranger, to a lot of different people. And so, you know, when that $100,000 check gets paid to that songwriter for a number one with ASCAP, I don't, you know, I know that the numbers have changed over the years, but when those kind of things happen, that's very important. I mean, you know, you hear somebody go, "That's what saved me from having to work at McDonald's." And,
Yeah.
I've been blessed and haven't had that. So, and so yes, I still want to play that song.
Good. and just for the Last Chance Saloon, it's, one of the studies said that loud music can make a person drink more in less time. So why don't you do another song for us?
Loudly.
Nice segue.
You want it loud? The more you drink, the better I sound.
And a better Jason looks. All right, maybe not even that.
I was on my way back from Ohio, and I come two different ways. I know it's a little longer if I come down 77 into West Virginia and cut across at Charleston and come over towards Lexington. But I always take this little bypass, and it goes down past Boonesboro. And it's all that 2 lanes until you get to the hill, and then it's 2 lanes on one side and a single lane coming down. So they give you an opportunity to pass, but a lot of times what happens is you get behind people that don't understand the option of speeding up to get around that truck. And so this is what happened. I got stuck behind somebody, and the idea of the song came, and then some of my...
So it's road rage inspired.
Well, I mentioned that in here. This is called Beer Drinking, Pool Shooting, Redneck Night, which they're familiar with right here. Well, there's too many Sunday drivers, and it's only Wednesday afternoon, and they're keeping me from beer and appetizers down in my favorite saloon. And I'm getting road rage, and it's setting the stage for a hard loving or a good fight. It's a beer drinking, pool shooting, redneck night. When I pulled into the hangout, they told me happy hour's near the end. And one look at the grub tray left no doubt I was gonna go hungry again. And I'm feeling the strain, and it's getting my brain a whole lot of feeling uptight. It's a beer drinking, pool shooting, redneck night. I suppose I couldn't get on home and fix me one of them TV trays. but that's just gonna leave me alone, and I still wanna play. There's a group of fillies in the corner, yeah, they're giving me that meat market look. If they keep flashing their eyes, I'm gonna get hooked. It's 2 a.m. in the morning, and the pool hall crowned me king. And that last remaining filly tells me that she wants to hear me make her sing. I'm not a fool, but as a good rule, I won't turn down a little delight. It's a beer drinking, booze shooting redneck night. I suppose I couldn't get on home with this missy who's ready to play. It's better than going there alone, but I'm worried about the break of day. I don't want to let the boss man down. He's expecting me to work at 8. So I'm going to tell this filly she'll have to wait. Well, there's too many Sunday drivers on my way to work this Thursday morning. And this hangover's a double-sizer, and it's got me feeling tired and worn. But it's a good guess that with a little rest, I'll be feeling all right for a beer drinking, booze shooting Friday night. Yeah, beer drinking, booze shooting redneck night. Yeah, beer drinking, booze shooting redneck night.
Love it.
Thank you very much.
So the moral of the story is, for what I got, no matter what happens in life or in your evening, always go to work the next day. That's what I got out of that. I like that.
Or don't forget to go to the last chance to get you a beer.
Yeah, go to the last chance. We have good food here, though.
That's true. That's very true.
Here. Well, it's good.
And the kitchen's always open.
The kitchen is always open.
Unless the door's locked, you can't get in.
Yeah, once the door's locked, the kitchen is closed. But, well, good. Where? How can people find you? Find out where you're playing at? You're doing stuff all the time around Nashville.
I do a very little bit of stuff in Murfreesboro, and I'm seen at Writers' Nights, mostly there on the square. There's a couple Writers' Nights that go on there in Murfreesboro. I hang out at the only bar on Music Row. I hang out at the only bar on Music Row, a place called the Idle Hour. I don't want to advertise, but
oh, you can.
Okay, well, but you know, it's a place that's been there forever. It is all about the songwriters. It's a family. I happen to be hosting the Songwriters Night right now, and I'm there. I can be found online through Facebook. My name is DougToalston.
Like toast.
Like toast, yes.
It's Toalston, and through there I have a Reverb Nation site, and I have 3 albums posted on there, and actually 4, but the other ones outside of the 3 that I consider country efforts are kind of more geared toward jazz and blues and Christian and a little bit of everything. I've been told, you know, you need to concentrate on one style of songwriting and So you guys are shaking your head no, and the answer is no. What songwriter in his right mind limits his potential right off the bat?
Right.
And so
we're both here going no. As a musician, or as some people go, oh, you're not a musician, you're just a drummer. But anyways, as a drummer,
you beat things with sticks. And
I've been told I'm not a musician because I have a job.
Yeah, I've heard that too. I know growing up. Now, I grew up in the day, and like yourself, we grew up. We didn't have the internet. We didn't have YouTube. We didn't have all the tabs. All the stuff that the kids have nowadays about learning music. We dropped the needle on vinyl, and we just learned it over. And
I still
over
do.
and over. And you do, because you love vinyl, and you got to tell the people the large collection you have of vinyl.
It's only close to 10,000 strong.
10,000 albums, or 45s, or 33s, and 78s.
There's some 78s involved in that number as well.
10,000. So if you work hard by Christmas, you can bump them numbers up, I'm sure.
You can wear a CD out too, though.
Oh, you can.
Yeah.
You can.
Oh,
but
yeah.
nothing sounds like vinyl. That is
true.
That warmth.
That's true. Oh, yeah, you're
and
right.
the analog
Right.
recording in the vinyl is just tremendous.
Oh, yeah. So, yeah, it's...
I did find out recently that you can insure your vinyl collection for about $20 a year,
Really?
but you can't insure CDs or cassette tapes or anything of that nature. But vinyl, you can.
I did not know that.
And vinyl can get wet,
Yes.
and it's still good.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, we hosed ours off and cleaned them in the old days, thinking that was pretty cool. But now,
There you go.
one thing we learned the hard way is you never take a record player outside in Wisconsin, like in August, and put can't remember what the spindles that were where you put like multiple albums on top
Stack,
and put the little
yeah.
arm on there and stack them. They melt really cool looking. So, and the dust covers do the same thing. The dust covers have this cool little dip. It's great for like if you're gonna like make a dip for punches and
Did you know that I won't go there.
No, you got to now, Doug. You can't leave us.
Yeah, I am.
Okay.
They said that when Black Oak, Arkansas heard all the voices and everything, they were really the first Milli Vanilli, and that the album had warped so bad.
Well, I'm Jim Dandy. Wow. Yeah, that's pretty wild.
You've heard that story, though, right?
Yeah, oh yeah.
Not that way.
No, can't say.
JD, I'm just kidding.
He was just Brian, he was just at the, well, of course, people on the radio station can't hear Brian. Brian, there actually was a real Brian. You still there, Brian?
Yeah, I'm still here.
Now, he played at Hippie Hill not too long ago. Was it last year's after Bonnaroo party?
Oh, I don't know.
Black Oak, Arkansas, Jim Dandy. I think they played the Bonnaroo after the Bonnaroo party last year, I
I
think.
think it was last year, come think of it.
Yeah.
JD used to run a Bluebird night in Columbus. And, of course, I worked for Frisch's Big Boy, and I could never get there. And
That big thing up there. He's got to get tired of holding that sandwich up all day.
Well, think of the families you could feed with that one sandwich.
All I know is just the union had to probably step in with that. That's pretty sad. It was Mark's Big Boy in Wisconsin.
yeah, they were different. Elias Brothers was in Midwest. And,
Yeah.
there was a lot of different chains that.
Now, one thing I did notice about the Big Boy, when you got the sandwich between Ohio and Michigan, Ohio had like tartar sauce on their Big Boy sandwich. Michigan,
Really?
it was tartar sauce, or it was Thousand Island.
I was not aware of that.
That's true.
That is true.
That is true.
See, when you listen to this radio station, not only do you get good music, you get just stuff that educates you.
That's right. I just educated you.
Educates
Useless information.
and I have a lot of that. So
Useless trivia. Right here on the Midnight Madness Show.
That's what we're going to start calling your segue.
Useless information?
Useless trivia.
Useless trivia. Fill your head with it, everybody.
stuff that makes us no money. Yeah, okay, that's what we want.
Well, that's like working for you.
Exactly. And I was going to double your pay today. You were going to get the same pay as Brian gets.
Wow. That much?
Cheeseburger, I paid you somehow.
That's true. I did get a cheeseburger.
All right, well, it's worth something. But
And you get blessed with my good looks and charm.
oh, yeah, let's move right on. Let's get back to the entertainment
Now,
here.
do you have albums and CDs available to sell, or
I have albums and CDs available to listen to.
to listen to?
Yeah, that's on Reverb Nation. Actually, I came here 20 years ago and paying a healthy sum of child support.
Oh, I understand that.
I always had to have a pretty good job. I've never been able to pursue it like I'd like to, and most of the time what would happen was somebody would look at me and go, lack of dedication to your career. Well, my sons were my career. I really look at that now, and I'm glad that I did what I did. And maybe whatever I'm doing, maybe it's meant to be their retirement. Maybe something's going to happen even after I'm gone. That may be something that will come to them,
Right.
Residually. So that's fine too. I'm living the dream.
So now, as a songwriter, do you have stuff published
Yes.
to like some big names? Is there anything you can share with that?
No, I'm a publisher.
You're a publisher.
He publishes himself.
He publishes himself.
Actually, the way that she was talking about some of this with the music business now, the way to actually get a bigger piece of the pie for a songwriter is to become a publisher.
Right.
I was, from what I've been told, granted my publishership in a very odd way. Used to be to become a publisher, you had to have been published with someone or having written with a publisher to become a publisher. 1997, I was questioning the idea of becoming associated with all 3 publishing agencies. And they said, well, that's not a good idea. Why? And the answer was, well, what's to say that you wouldn't try to collect the same money from ABC? And I said, well, an honest Christian guy wouldn't have much to worry about then, would he? And they'd go, oh, no. Finally, a guy came up and he handed me a business card and said, quit screwing around and call this woman. So I called this woman, and about the 3rd time, I got through to her every time. And there was music in the background. She was busy. And I said, finally she said, look, how did you get this number? And I told her, and she said, I'll call you right back. And she called me right back, and she said, tell me what you want to do. And I told her what I wanted to do. And she has this really deep, wispy voice. She was really...
Hi, my name is Barbara.
And so she asked me to send her a 30-minute tape. Send me 30 minutes worth of your music. And I was embarrassed because I was still dealing with tapes. And the age had come about that I needed to transfer to CDs. And she said, don't worry, I've done all this, so it's okay. And so she got my stuff, and 2 weeks later she called me back just like she said she was, and she said, look, all your music is like this. And I said, like what? And she said, it has a very specific beginning, a very specific end. Your lyrics are very well thought out and cohesive. You studied music theory. And I said, well, my mom was a voice teacher, and yes, I did. And she said, you're a publisher. And I was pretty taken aback about this, because this was not something, this was what I knew just didn't happen.
Right.
And so she said, look, I'm going to send you everything you need, and you'll register one song and send it back, and we'll be on there. As a ASCAP publisher, you pay your dues. And at that time, there was dues. There's no longer dues. None of them charge. They charge administrative fees to become a publisher.
Right.
I really was, again, I'm saying, ma'am, I really, I'm flattered and everything else, and I don't understand, and I know people go to school. She said, do you know who I am? And I said, I know your name is Marilyn Bergman. And she said, I am the president of ASCAP.
Oh, wow.
Awesome.
She was the woman who wrote The Way We Were.
She did okay
And
then.
so my buddy had done me this humongous favor by giving me this card with this woman's number on it. I registered one song. I have registered one song. I'm looking for a publisher that wants to come look at a 300-plus song catalog and work with me. Are you listening?
Listeners all over the world, take notice. Yeah.
And really that's what it is. I have protected myself. I do go through copyrights and all that kind of stuff, and am I open for bidding? Sold.
The highest bidder. The man back there with
But you never know when that's going to happen. I mean, you never know. I mean, at these different clubs, I've been there when Dierks Bentley's comes in, and Dierks Bentley's producer for his first 2 CDs. He and I are very good friends. Mike Allen Ward. I don't know if you know him or not.
I know the name, but don't know him personally.
Okay, yeah. Too Old to Die Young was one of his big hits.
Yeah.
And
Mo Bandy tune.
So you never know who's going to be in the audience, and that's part of people go there hoping that somebody's going to be there, and again there's other people out there going, "Oh, that's a good line."
Yeah.
Oh, that's a good line.
Yeah, I like that hook.
And that's why I don't put things on the internet, because it reduces it to a mouse, and you're going, "Oh, that's a good line. Oh, that's a good line.
Paste.
Oh, that's a good line."
Here's my new song.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, unfortunately, that's happened to one of our people that used to work with us over at the Family Music Center. Next thing she knew, she had a song that she'd been playing for years at songwriter things, and all of a sudden it's on YouTube, and the guy's singing it and singing about a little town he knew about back in Tennessee, and I guess the guy is from like Texas or something. A little town I once visited. He'd never visited the town, but she's singing about her hometown, and kind of like yours, it's singing about what she knows and about. It's very descriptive of the area. This guy is singing it word for word. The melody is exactly it. Oh yeah, a little town I was from there. She contacted me. It's copyrighted. It's on my album. It's my song. It's my song. Thank you very much. So I think there were about 12 of us commented on his YouTube page, and there wasn't really friendly comments. But I am Irish and I am Yankee, but I spoke my piece. So just sad. But it happens in the music business.
Yeah.
Jason, what else you got over there?
Well, I know somebody that actually claims that they wrote White Line Fever and sold it to Merle Haggard, then kicked themselves in the butt for it.
Okay. Wasn't me.
No.
I can't write a song.
It wasn't stolen. They sold it.
Oh, they sold it.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
A lot of guys, they came back from Vietnam, and a bunch of these people were songwriters, and they were in California. And they were getting in on these things that all these different bands were doing out there, and their lines were being cut out of songs, and they were selling these lines for money just to get another fix. Mm-hmm. And it was really kind of strange, but a lot of lines, there's a friend of mine had a Dave Mason line or as a song that's called "You Are Every Woman" is the song, and he was the one who actually wrote that song, but yet. When it came down to it, he sold it off. And selling things off was what people do still today. It's still going on around there today,
Yeah.
So,
well, you do get hard up for money as a singer, as a songwriter. And
you have to have a hobby to support your living.
Exactly. That's why most of us still have 40 hours a week and then still try to put 40 hours in music.
Yeah, I never had to worry about the songwriting thing because I've written one song in my life, and it was horrendous bad. And I realized at a young age that maybe songwriting is not my future, so I just pick stuff up with sticks and beat them, which works in multitudes of different ways.
There you go.
But yeah, I
there's been a lot of times you wanted to hit me with a stick.
I've hit you with a stick once or twice, sometimes unintentional. Yeah, most of the time, intentional. But I find it fascinating to sit and listen to songwriters because I think it's, a lot of people go, well, he's got a gift. He's got a gift. Well, that's true in some form, but I think a lot of it's just hard work. There's very few musicians that I ever walk up there. I can name 2 that I go, they could play any instrument. They could do absolutely anything. It's just like God said, you the man. You the man. And he can do it. Any instrument. They can hear it by ear. They can sight read. They do it all.
Yeah.
And one of those doesn't even play an instrument to this day. Just one day just decided music is over, and it was a hobby. I want to choke that man to death. He's on my Facebook. And, Kevin, if you're listening, I really want to hurt you bad.
But, it's like we were talking before the show, and they don't realize how long people have studied and worked and done what they've done before they became any kind of star.
Oh, yeah. There's a kid that taught lessons for me, and he's the extreme. But When he was 14, I don't know what touched his life, but something told him, you are a jazz guitar player, and you will study. And he went to the extreme going, in order to be good, I need to practice every day. He is 10 hours a day, every day, 7 days a week, since he's 14. He is now 23. And Jake Acorn, his name is Jake A. Corn, but I call him Jake Acorn. If you're listening, Jake, I'm talking about you. He's now like 23. He's played all over the world, and he's one of the best jazz guitar players you've never heard of. But he makes his sole living playing music, his house, his car, by playing. And jazz is a hard genre to get into.
Oh, yeah.
And he is out there doing it, but it took practice and dedication. And he's been doing it for years.
It doesn't happen from pushing a button with your thumbs.
No.
Yes.
So, who was your influences?
Other than you.
Other than me.
Of course.
I influenced so many
I was
people.
waiting for that. I just interrupted.
I love it when people, and I played cover songs for a long time too, and I'm actually, long before the term unplugged, that's what I did. I've always pretty much been a solo artist. Not that I've never worked with a band, but my preference is to do what we're doing here. I grew up loving Jim Croce and Van Morrison
Good answers.
and Cat Stevens, early Elton John. Just there were so many things that I had two older brothers. I was the youngest of three, and they both had very wide interest. My older brother, 4 years older, Beatles, and
Yes.
we get together now at a karaoke thing, and they're going, they sent in the ringers, because I'm a harmony freak, and he knows these songs in and out, and so it's fun to go do those things for us. But it's a lot of times it's just. I like everything. I liked rap in its earliest form when it was meant to
The Sugar Hill Gang era.
when it was meant to inform and persuade. There was a plight in our country, and the original intention of that music was to inform people of that plight and entertainment. There was a lot of stuff that went on in that.
But it was what we were talking about, though. That early form of rap was stuff that the everyday person could understand and relate to. Now it's got to the point where I don't have a make it rain with all the money, and I don't have my Escalade, and I don't have my gold teeth, and I just don't understand it anymore. I'm not a gangsta.
Do you know how far back rap music goes?
Well, it goes way back, longer than I've been alive.
Yeah. It sure does. I remember the first rap song I heard, was swing your partner round and round.
Wow. Wow.
Oh wow.
Brian, can you mute his mic? Can we make him not go over the air? But it's like the Sugar Hill Gang when he came out, and we all laugh about the Sugar Hill Gang because they were just so innocent. Well, that was actually considered like the first rap. Well, they were talking about everyday stuff. They were just doing it in a different art form, and a different genre, and that was cool. And I think most of us my age can all sit there and talk about the hotel, motel, the Holiday Inn thing. And then
I can't say it that fast, though.
Then when Deborah Harry, you did the hillbilly rap.
That's when people ask me, what kind of music do I write? And they say, anything but rap and heavy metal. And they look at me real strange. I go, look, I don't like being screamed at, and I don't want to scream at anybody.
Yeah.
Number two, if I have to rhyme that fast, it sounds like a schoolgirl.
A friend of mine, he's a monster shredder guitar player out of Indianapolis. Josh Paul, and he's just a cool guy. But he used to teach lessons for us, and he'd have these kids come in, and just dressed like vampires. Oh man, I'm really into this death metal and thrash and stuff. And he goes, okay, what kind of music you like? And these kids are going, oh well, we like Pig Destroyer, and they start naming all these bands that are just I'd never heard of, and he knows every one of them. And he goes, why do you hate your parents so bad?
Well, there's the other side of that. My son turned me on to a group called Dragon Force.
Good band.
And I'll tell you what, somebody, well, what does that sound like? And I said,
Rush on steroids.
Yeah. Josh Paul.
Wow.
The guitar player, and I can't think of the guy's name. It's a foreign name. I can't think of a Japanese name or something, if I remember right. At one point, he was considered the fastest shredder on the planet for Dragon Force. And I had these two long-haired kids come in and said, hey, man, isn't that guy like the fastest guitar player on the planet? And Josh Paul can do it faster, note for note, cleaner than the guys from Dragon Force. But that's how I got introduced from Dragon Force. I go, Dragon Force. I'm going, I have no idea. And I went on, I YouTubed it, and I'm like, oh my, you're
how
right.
How does the drummer? I mean, you watch that, and that guy's just at it. I'm going, how in the world does this guy stay in that kind of shape? And I mean, I know if he's doing that every night, that's his workout. He's oh my gosh.
Oh yeah. It's one of those where it's a talent. The Steve Vais of the world, Seth Trowani's,
Neil Peart,
Malmsteen, and all the Paul Gilbert, and them guys. It's ungodly what they can do. But I'd rather listen to Stevie Ray Vaughan. I'd rather listen to Eric Clapton. Someone that's got soul and heart.
Well, there it is.
Speed. It's a talent. They sacrifice a lot to get like the Mike Portnoys of the world who drummed for Dream Theater. You can't take away his talent. Even Neil Peart said, the guy's a monster.
I've been starting to work with a guitar player up in Ohio. We met many years ago, and I don't have the easiest music to follow. Mm-hmm. And so this guy, just one meeting, just this guy is playing along with me like a pro. I mean, he just has figured out where I'm going next and is matching this. And it just blew me away. There's my shout out. Chris Sims.
There you go. Hey, Chris.
And Becca and the kids and everybody. But I had to laugh because I went up there and he was going to come down when I had one of my gigs on my first run up there at the beginning of July and he looked around. He called me on the phone and he goes, "Do you want me to come out?" And I said, "Sure." He goes, "I promise I won't walk on your lyrics." And I said, "Do you know how many guitar players can't say that?"
Yeah. Most of them. That's very true. Why don't we'll get Doug back into another song here real quick.
This is one of those songs that talked about, writing something and it isn't for you. I wrote this, the line came to me from a friend of mine that passed away last year. But he was always searching for something. There's got to be something more. There has to be something more. And he tried everything he could possibly try to get there, and a lot of wrong ways. But after I really got stuck on this song, I finally had some things come about where I realized maybe I wasn't just writing this about this one person, and it came about that I wrote this for, and my brother heard this and he looked at me and he said home run, and when he says that, I'm always happy. Shout out to my brother Kerry and his family, Mary and Neil. And so this is a song called "Standing in the Ashes." Say to me there had to be something more, but every time I'd turn around I'd see you reaching out to someone to pull you from the floor. Can you tell me how long it's gonna be before you're standing in the ashes of the bridges that you burned? Wondering how you'll get to the other side with the memories and flashes of the lessons that you've learned, but somehow never were applied. Can you tell me when will you realize I saw you walk away when a simple compromise was all it was you really had to make? But there will come a day when there'll be no disguise. What you give would be worth so much more than you take. When you're standing in the ashes of the bridges that you burn, wondering how you'll get to the other side, with the memories and flashes of the lessons that you've learned, but somehow never were applied. Can you tell me, when will you realize? All you need to know is that we truly do love you. All we've ever longed for is your good. The directions you should go are something only you can choose. Oh, how we wish you understood. I hope someday you'll find something to ease your heart, something you can build your life upon, that will ease your mind, and you can make a brand new start and turn away from everything that's wrong. Or you'll be standing in the ashes of the bridges that you burn, wondering how you get to the other side, with the memories and flashes of the lessons that you learned, but somehow never were applied. Can you tell me, when will you realize? We'll be standing in the ashes of the bridges that you burned, wondering how you'll get to the other side, with the memories and flashes of the lessons that you've learned, somehow never were applied. Can you tell me, when will you realize? Can you tell me if you'll ever realize? Can there come a day when you realize?
Very nice.
Your brother's right.
Home run. That's what she's saying. Now, your brothers, all musical? You say they sing. Do they play guitar? Play a real instrument like a drum?
We're all cut from three different molds. One, my brother Art is a journalist, again, for the Southern Baptist Press. He says he could write about cats and dogs.
Cool.
He's a very talented journalist, always has been. My other brother is an engineer. He's been a quality engineer. He's been a production engineer. He's been, the last few years, he worked for Marathon as a vibration analyst for a refinery, and that's some dangerous stuff. Wow. If you don't know how much comes out of a barrel of crude oil in the way of lightly flammable things like butane, and he would always, I mean, he just retired and said that this was something that when he retired, he was tired of coming home and wondering over a weekend if when he went back there had been that explosion that they weren't listening to what he was trying to tell them. And so he's kind of glad to be retired. And now he's probably going to go be a consultant. Who knows? But yeah, we were all, I mean, I was the musician, and Kerry's a motorhead. My brother Kerry is he's tinkered with cars all his life. We've played together. I was his pit crew when we did East Coast four-wheel drive sanction things. Cool. and a lot of different things that we were involved with. He's kind of gone back to a little bit of both Jeeps and drag racing. But he can rebuild them, he can weld them, he can do it all. So,
well, good.
But that's me, and again, Art can edit anything and make somebody sound like, well, that sounded nice. You go, you didn't hear him say that, and and me, I'm probably the one going, somebody's going to go, you were writing that about me. And I thought, well, whew, get over yourself.
any similarities is purely coincidental. So, yeah, you see at the end of, like, all the Dragnet and all the others. These persons living their dead is purely coincidental. So me singing about you is purely coincidental. You write what you know, and I know you. So
just the facts.
Just coincidence. I had a question, and all of a sudden I just went across. And Jason, help me out. You got something to ask Doug?
Well, I do understand. As you get older, the first thing to go is your mind.
Huh? Oh, I thought I was hearing. Anyway.
Well, you're a drummer. That's been going a long time ago.
I know. I hear you. Let's have Doug do one more song here real quick before he does that. Jason, why don't you tell us who's coming up next week?
Oh, we have a great artist again next week. Of course, every week seems to be a great artist. I'm
telling you what, man, you have hit home run after home run. I'm very proud of you.
I'm glad somebody is.
In all honesty, as much as I dog Jason and I pick on him a lot, you've got us booked up into January, if I remember.
We now have the whole month of January booked. We're starting to book into February.
Wow. That's incredible. And I know there's some nuggets along the way. There's some I don't know.
There's some I don't even know at this point.
Yeah. There's one I'm a little worried about.
That comes up a little soon.
Soon, yeah. I'm a little worried about. But we knew Doug, so we knew we were going to have a good show tonight. We knew Lily last week. We knew Sugarline Blue the week before. So it's nice to see familiar friends and try to help them out. And
I had to book myself just so I can have a spot.
I hear you. I'll book that one for you.
Yeah, I bet you will.
But, and by the way, you're playing here in September at Last Chance Saloon. Your new band.
We are.
Mm-hmm.
Do we have a date yet?
Yes, it's on the calendar.
Yes.
Well, that's a good date. I'm looking forward to it.
It's like September 10th, I think. It's a Saturday. I can't remember what it is. First or second Saturday of September.
Well, awesome.
Yeah, you're booked here. So. But anyway,
I'm looking forward to it.
So next week was.
Next week we have Randy Fincham. We have a Dove Award-winning songwriter.
Yes. Randy Fincham, that'd be good. Now, is he going to do his other new show after that, or is that 2 weeks?
I am not 100% sure on that.
I think that's 2 weeks.
I believe it might be 2 weeks that he starts the...
I think he does September. Yeah.
What is it, Nashville Nights?
Nashville Nights. So after the Midnight Madness show, we'll be doing singer-songwriters here with accomplished songwriters, and Randy.
And I believe we are going to air that, correct?
Yes.
Directly after the Midnight Madness show, we're going to air... Nashville Nights.
Nashville Nights. Well, Randy needs to come up with a theme song, or Doug comes up with a theme song. I like the saloon thing you got, but, we have good food. We have good food here, and I'm snacking on cheese sticks as we speak. But, well, that's good. So Randy Fincham next week, tune into that.
The following week is Freddie Snell.
And we're looking forward to that.
The week after that is Shannon Cornelius.
Have you talked to Tommy Barnes yet?
I have not.
You need to talk to Tommy. Doug and I was talking about Tommy earlier.
Tommy, if you're listening, right now February's open.
You need to talk to Tommy. He cracked me up because he is about as pro-American as you can get, and he's just...
We all might get along just fine now.
Oh, buddy, I'm telling you.
It would be a political show.
We would have to tell Tommy that you've only got so long
that you could,
and don't get me assassinated that night. But everything with Tommy, I just hit like. Once in a while, sometimes he gets too over the top where I go, I'm going to sound stupid in anything I'm going to comment because he's so far intelligent in some of his answers, his statements and stuff. I'm just going to be stupid if I even make a comment in there. So I'm just going to go, I like it. Good job, Tommy. You said it everything the way I would have said it. Well, that would have been stupid sounding. So we really like Tommy Barnes.
Stupid is as stupid does.
Yeah, I hear you. I got a chance through Randy Fincham. He introduced me to Tommy a couple of years ago. I said, "Oh man, you got this songwriter. He's phenomenal. He's a great guy." First time I met Tommy Barnes, he goes, "I know you." I'm like, I don't know. He goes, "We're friends on Facebook." Oh, okay, yeah. And then he gets up there and he performs. I'm going, I know him. He knows me. I like that guy. We're friends. We're friends on Facebook. Yeah, we go way back, like 6 days or 7 days or something.
7?
Yeah. I really like Tommy Barnes. Yeah, we need to get Tommy on the show. And he's one of those performers that just gets into it, and I really like to listen to him. So work on Tommy Barnes.
We'll work on Tommy.
Maybe Doug can throw a good word in. You say, those guys aren't the biggest jerks I've heard.
Well, at least the one guy.
50% of them.
I'll tell you, you get his line, you might have a whole bunch of others there that would be wanting to do that too.
Yeah. Tommy's a good dude, so I like to get him on. He's very entertaining, and he's just talented.
Speaking of which, if anybody listening, any artist in the general area or elsewhere is interested in doing the show, just contact me via Facebook. We can private message me, and we can try to get you scheduled in and go from there.
That'll work. And you got some really cool stuff in the works, too, trying to get the Legends of Storytellers.
Yes, we have a lot of great things coming out with Legends of Storytellers.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that.
We do have 2 shows under our belt already with the Johnny Moore and Joanne Cash.
So we got Leona Williams coming up.
Leona Williams coming up, and Buzzy.
Yeah, Buzzy Orange. We just got to get a date for Buzzy.
Yeah.
So, yeah, we'll explain to that once we get more. And Brian has to get us our previous 2 shows together so we can get those edited and get them on our YouTube page. Phenomenal. We have Johnny Moore and Joanne Cash talking about their history and their lives.
Very exciting music history for all you music buffs.
Non-tabloid stuff. I don't want the good, the bad, and the ugly. I just want the good. So,
well, we're all ugly. We've already got that at our show.
Not our artists, though.
I didn't say that.
I wasn't talking about you. I was talking about Mark.
You were talking about yourself.
Oh, wow. Well, good. Well, Doug, why don't you hit us with another song real quick, if you don't mind, and then we'll
I don't mind
ask
at all.
for any more questions and let you get out of here.
All right. Well, I know I said, how close am I to the end of this? Am I going to do this?
You know what? It's our own radio show. If you want to go 2, 3 more songs, I don't care.
Oh, okay.
I just don't want to wear you out. You're going to go, I'm doing it for free.
Well, I said I was going to do something, and I'm kind of holding to that.
All right.
But not yet. This is on the line of more of the jazz-oriented kind of things I do. This is a song about started out about my family, but it really comes out that we're, in the long run, all family, and that's what this is about. This is called That's Love. Daddy was a Yankee military man, headed off for World War II. He got sent to Mississippi and he met a Southern belle and found a love that was so true. And she is my mama, and I'm so proud of her. She stayed right by his side until he died. I know for sure that's love. When he came home from the war, well, they raised 3 kids, of which I am the youngest one. It taught us to be honest in everything we did, and then we'd never have to run. And they are my brothers, and I love them through eternity. There are no others like my family, and that's love. Brotherhood of man, it's part of the master's plan. The second heaven here on earth is at hand. If we just understand about love. A half-breed military man headed for a different war. And I met your mama in the Rocky Mountains. We married and 2 children she bore. And you are my sons. And I want you to see that I give to you and I leave with you. It's more than a legacy. It's love. It's part of the master's plan. The second heaven here on earth is at hand. If we just understand about love, about love, about love, about love. About love. Thank you very much.
Well, let's talk about the 2 boys. How old are they? Where are they at?
Actually, my wife and I have 2 mine, 2 hers now.
Oh, okay.
And my oldest one is in Connecticut, where it still snows.
Oh, yeah.
And I have 2 granddaughters. And so my son Ben and his wife Julianne, and they have I have 2 granddaughters that are Pearl and Vesper. And
cool. It sounds like you kind of like have a hippie family, kind of a little bit. Your dad's Art, your mom was Lily, you got Pearl, you have Opal was thrown in there, your mom's middle name. So it sounds to me like they're flower children.
Flower, yeah. There. Lily Opal, that was her. She cool. went by Opal.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, and then my youngest son, he's the free spirit. He's out in California, Ukiah area, and he's kind of like me. But I guess I started my adultly trek at 26, where he's 28 and
not there yet.
He's not in a hurry, and that's okay too. Yeah. Have 2 other sons, that stepsons, and my older stepson, he's in West Tennessee, and my youngest one lives here in the Murfreesboro area. He's a National Guard member, and works for a company that does the slot machines and video games in different facilities. So he travels around and repairs these things. So it's pretty cool for him. My wife and I are both from Ohio. She's 11 years younger than me. Keeps me young and jumping.
Now, did you meet her in Ohio or Denver? Or
no, we met in Ohio. Now, my former wife, we met. She was military, and we met in Denver.
Okay.
And that's how all that started. We were married for 10 years.
Okay.
And
all right. Well, cool.
2 kids.
Kind of come from a little bit of a musical background, with mom. Now, Dad, you said Dad did. What was your dad was? What did he do for a living?
My dad was a 27-year mailman. I was the mailman's kid.
Wow. We just lost Brian. I wish the crowd could hear this one.
It was true.
Yeah, Brian, you got to get your audio where people can hear it on the radio.
Dad was originally from Ohio, and like I said, he got sent to. He was in Pascagoula when he met my mom.
Okay.
And courted her through the mail up until the time he came back from the service, and they got married.
That's cool.
Why don't you go ahead and give us another tune?
All right. In June, we lost a Japanese friend. His name was Hank Sasaki. I'd known Hank since I got here, and he'd been here several years before me. We met up at the Broken Spoke Saloon, and very interesting, fun character. I spent 2 of my military years in Japan, 2.5, and so I knew a little bit about Japan, and we got to talking, and we became pretty good friends. And we were talking earlier, and nobody would ever known he was 78 years old. And he was back over in Japan and passed from complications to pneumonia. But this song was the first song he did on your Midnight Madness show. And it's also been cut by a couple independent artists, one by the name of Erin Hay. And I don't know where she's at now, but may have moved back out to California. But she had some success. And this was one of the songs that she had success with. And so this is, so on a nice, wonderful, cool night tonight, I wonder if the moon is out there. So this is by Hank Sasaki. It's called Tennessee Moon. I left a home, family, to follow a dream. Hundreds of long, lonely miles in between. Swore when I left her I'd be coming home soon, but I fell in love with the Tennessee moon. Tennessee moon, oh Tennessee moon, I come here to sing my songs for you. My pride won't let me return home too soon until I can shine like the Tennessee moon. Tennessee moon, Tennessee moon, come here to sing my songs for you. My pride won't let me return home so soon until I can shine like the Tennessee moon. Sometimes I wonder if I'd rather be at home in your arms and you holding me. There's no doubt about what I'm going through, but I fell in love with the Tennessee moon. Tennessee moon, Tennessee moon, I come here to sing my songs for you. My pride won't let me come home so soon until I can shine like the Tennessee moon. Tennessee moon, oh Tennessee moon, Hank came to sing this song to you. His pride wouldn't let him, but I know it's true. He's up there shining like a Tennessee moon. Some say he left us just a little too soon, but I know he's shining like the Tennessee moon.
Well, that's actually my favorite Hank Sasaki song.
Beautiful song. Nice touch there at the end, tribute to Hank.
He touched so many people in the area.
he did.
And not just here, but all over the world, really. But
Right.
Japan and Australia, and he's going to be missed.
He was very humorous about himself and being a country artist and in his format.
Right.
I'm not tall like Jackson. I no looky like Brooks. But his soul was just as country, though he did have a different look. And that was the Cowboy from Japan song. Go check him out online, y'all. But there's a nice Midnight Madness show on there, too.
Yeah, we were so fortunate to get to meet Hank. I didn't get to know him very long, 3 years, I think it was. He performed at our Fam Jam, a radio show, maybe two. Was he at 2 radio shows?
One radio show and the Fam Jam the same
Fam
year.
Jam.
Did you know that he was a member of the Iowa Country Music Hall of Fame?
I didn't know that.
Huh.
Iowa Country Music Hall of Fame. So
I moved to Michigan for the last year before coming back. And in the middle of the summer, he would call me 3 or 4 times a month just to see how I was doing. When you coming back?
He was hilarious. Yeah. We talk off air about him a lot. He's just one of those guys that was genuine. He touched you when you met him. He was funny. We told the story many times on the air about the first time he met Big Mike Griffin. I told that to Doug earlier, and we laughed. He just had a great sense of humor. His songs were, again, you could relate to them, and I really liked what you just did with the twist there, in tribute and to Hank. So beautiful, beautiful touch on that. So,
And I do believe he's right. He is shining like the Tennessee moon,
yeah.
smiling down on all of us.
From South Oklahoma.
So far, yeah.
So Tennessee Moon from South Oklahoma.
you have to hear the story, but
He was brilliant, and so quick, so funny, and I mean, he had Big Mike rolling. But yeah, just a good guy.
Well, you might as well tell the story for those that haven't heard it, because there's so many people out in the listening world not going.
We
don't
get
understand.
quite a few new listeners, and we had not too long ago during the Fam Jam, and I don't know if it was the day that Doug was there, maybe, where we had people listening from Moscow, Russia.
yes, that's correct. That's correct.
First time we've ever had that, and again, we appreciate people from all over the world listening. But it's Hank's big touch that we get so many Japanese listeners, which is awesome. They listen and they just kind of stay tuned in. But Hank's the one that kind of got that international thing going for us. So yeah, we get a lot of new listeners. So I'll tell the story. If you heard it before, now's the time to go to the bathroom and get some chips or something. But I have a guitar shop. Okay, thanks. Thanks. Good night. We'll be here all week. Try the veal. But anyways, so we have the guitar shop in Manchester at the Family Music Center, and I have a guitar teacher named Big Mike Griffin, another fantastic artist. If you haven't seen him or heard him, you need to go to bigmikegriffinband.com.
He's actually a very short feller for his
Yeah,
name.
short. He's like 4'1". Was in the Wizard of Oz as an extra. Now, Mike is 6'10", 360 pounds. If he didn't play blues guitar so well, he could have been the offensive tackle for the Titans. He's huge.
He could have been the whole offensive tackle.
He could have been the whole offensive line. And Hank Sasaki is about how tall, you think, Doug? 5'2"?
5'4", maybe,
5'4".
if that.
All right, so 5'4" to 6'10". They meet each other in my building. And Big Mike is from Lawton, Oklahoma. And Big Mike comes walking out, and Hank comes walking up the front porch, and they meet each other, and they shake hands and make comment about Big Mike's size. And Mike goes, "Where are you from?" And Hank Sasaki goes, "I'm from Oklahoma." And Big Mike goes, "Huh, well, I'm from Lawton, Oklahoma. I've never heard anyone talk like that from where I'm from." And Hank, without batting an eye, goes, "I'm from South Oklahoma." Right then.
That's
right
Hank.
Then, I knew this guy. This guy is going to be good, yeah. But he was hilarious. And bless his heart, he was one of the very first ones to get us CDs for the radio station.
Yep.
And he has called in multiple times, like Jason, he has called in multiple times to thank us for putting this stuff on the radio. He was always just the kindest, gentlest man, and he always, going on the phone, I'm going to say with a very bad English, Japanese accent, he always goes, and tell your beautiful wife, Cynthia, I said, thank you very much. You know, he was always so sweet. Always thought of my wife. Always made sure I had to tell her that. So we just love him to death. I don't get attached to too many people, especially real fast. And he's one of them you could not help to. He was just a nice guy. He was genuine.
But you fell in love with me so quickly.
Yeah. What's that?
You fell in love with me so quickly.
Dude, we haven't gotten to that point yet. It's been like 4 years. You know, fantasy can be fun on your part, I guess. But, well, excellent. Well, Doug, do you have anything else you want to do? You got another one you want to do?
Well, we've joked about age all night. And so...
this is a good one to close it with, then. Age.
What?
Yeah, this is called I Won't Grow Old Gracefully. I don't finger pick a whole lot, so... I won't grow gracefully, I'm kicking and screaming all the way. I'll use Grecian formula when my hair turns gray. When it all falls out, I'll wear a toupee. I won't grow gracefully, it's something that I'm planning to miss. They say that the body is the second thing to go. Let me tell you this, I can't remember what the first one is. Chronologically speaking, age is a frame of mind that plagues the youth of all mankind. Down the road you're sneaking, trying hard to leave behind the one thing in life that you don't have to search to find. I won't grow gracefully, I'm gonna fight it till my dying day. I'm never gonna wear a diaper again, and that's how it's gonna stay. When I get old and senile, I'll never forget, I'll never forget, I'll never forget who you are and what I want to say. I won't grow gracefully, and I'm planning to arrive to my final destiny with all my sexual drive. And when I can no longer do it, I'll use Viagra to survive. Chronologically speaking, age is a frame of mind that plagues the youth of all mankind. Down the road you're sneaking, trying hard to leave behind the one thing in life that you don't have to search to find. I won't grow gracefully, I'm kicking and screaming all the way. I'll use Grecian formula when my hair turns gray. When it all falls out, I'll wear. When it all falls out, I'll wear. When it all falls out, I'll wear a toupee. I want to thank you all for listening very much again. My name is Doug Toalston, and on behalf of everybody out there that I've mentioned tonight, I just want to say thank you for being part of my life. Thank you, the panel here, for asking me all these wonderful questions tonight and getting...
You passed the test.
This is very fun. Very fun. All right. So when it all falls out... Ooh, that's why you wear a hat.
And here you told everyone you look like Adonis.
And by the way, America needs a comb over.
I'm with you. Well, Doug, we really, really appreciate that you hung out with us. We had a great time, great music. We wish you the best. Obviously, we got to get Doug back either at a Fam Jam or another radio show somewhere down the road, depending on his schedule.
I've got his number now. We'll be in touch.
Awesome. Well, Doug, we appreciate it. Good
Thank you.
You write what you know, and he does a great job at it. So,
where are you at next?
The Idle Hour, Thursday night.
All right. Be sure to go check him out Thursday night.
Every Thursday.
Every Thursday night.
Every Thursday. Be there. Jason, why don't you take us out of here? Brian, again, thank you so very, very much for doing such a great job.
No problem. Thank you, guys.
Not a problem. And Uncle Larry, if you're listening, we're sorry you weren't here tonight. We miss you, so maybe next week we'll have Uncle Larry back. So, Jason, take us home.
We just want to thank everybody again for listening to the radio show. We do have a great time here every single Tuesday night at 7 o'clock. catch us live on the radio or come out here to the Last Chance Saloon, get yourself a big, fat, juicy cheeseburger and sit back. Yummy. Sit back and eat it, enjoy and listen and laugh and carry on with us. And you might even be surprised what you see.
Be careful how you say that.
That doesn't involve you, Jason.
After watching the Jason Adams band near the end of the night, yeah, you might not know.
Hey, I was the only one that got paid.
Yeah, what's that?
I was the one that got the paid from dancing on the chairs. They were putting money in my shorts, not the girls.
Oh, no. Oh, yeah. That was what was scary. So.
No, but that is true.
That was a vigil that just really went.
He has bad luck in this.
No,
right
I don't want to talk about that part of it.
Yeah, gloom, despair.
Agony on me.
Yeah. With that, we want to say goodnight to you all. Thanks again, Brian, and everybody on the staff. Thank you again, Doug. Be careful. We'll catch you next time around. I am Mark, DJ Doctor. We'll see you next week.